This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production.
On your marks, get set, play.
Hello there.
Good favor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
I don't think the British have a full understanding of what spooky is. But I don't know. But then, like, I really like Shaun of the Dead. I don't know.
Wasn't
Can't
that
call
more
it.
like comedy?
Yeah.
I ain't never really seen it.
It's kind of dramatous too, because when he had to mark out his mom,
Yeah, that's real fucked up. Anyway, welcome back to The Descent. This is Crimpy Say. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast. It's hosted by me, the Internet Stereo 713. Joined as always by the homegirl, Nick Jew.
Sandro in this eyeliner. Yes, God. Yes, God.
and Big Baby Anthony. What's good, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to spread some truffle on this episode.
Truffle's so whack. In all ways, shapes, and forms, it's never good. I feel like we've been lied to the whole time. Kind of stinky. Everything about it's bad. It's Halloween week. The first ever Halloween week. It just worked out timing wise that they got to make this happen. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for some tricks and treats. So let's get with it. Our remaining bakers are Abdul, Dawn, Yanush, Kevin, Maxie, Sandro, and Shabira. Yeah, lucky number 7, people. That's where we at. I too am shocked that Kevin is still in this game.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's real crazy. And that's your boy. It's like,
That's my
if he
boy,
didn't-
and I'm
if he
saying
didn't-
I don't
if he
understand why
didn't
he's
like-
still here.
It'd be different if you didn't like him, but you enjoy his presence. So, but you know better. You know. This week's signature. I was like, really? That's what y'all doing? I'm fine. A decorated, highly decorated, mind you, I guess, apple cake. Just like, really, guy? And Paul was so upfront, like, look, man, I need this joint to taste like apple. I don't care what else going on. It better
Make
be
me like
apple.
Apple Jacks.
It better be a cake. No puddings, no whatevers. I need an apple cake, and I need that. And I'm like, all right, Paul, I guess, bro. If I'm just not into apples like that. I wonder if Xander would like an apple cake. He really go up for apple pie. Questions for the ages. Like I said, the apple is expected to be the dominant flavor in the bake. And, well, we'll see how that goes out. Yeah, we start with Yanush. Yanush was making Yanush's mom's apple cake. It's a sponge filled with Cox apples, which account for 50% of the UK's dessert apples. Thought I'd give that little tidbit of information. Meaning it's the red apple of England.
Do we have Cox apples here?
If you looked at it, yeah, we probably do. We probably just call it something else. But like I said, it is England's apple, so that's they ride. I'm saying that's like probably what fell on Newton's head type apple, like them apples. You know what I'm saying?
Take them apples.
That's what the sponge is filled with, and with a pink apple buttercream, spiced with ginger, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and allspice. And as he rattled all that off, I knew the apple didn't have a chance of being present in this cake. Just wasn't going to win out. That's too much flavor, too much really dominant flavor, and so there you go. Shabira was making her witch apple cake with apple crumble and chili and sour plum cream cheese icing between layers of green apple sponge.
Love green apple.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Granny Smith. We all did. Maxie went with a classic apple and walnut cake, spiced apple and walnut sponge filled with cream cheese, frosting, apple puree, and salted caramel topped with apple shreds and whole walnuts. Dawn made a Ukrainian charlotte sponge. It's a fat-free sponge, which is actually, and if you look it up, it ends up being this cake is just known as a charlotte. That charlotte is just the Ukrainian probably variation of the name. She had sliced green apple throughout it, topped it with toffee apples that were soaked in blood orange juice for their, mysterious and spooky color. Kevin made his cake was named apple bobbing. It was a streusel topped sponge filled with cream cheese frosting and Braeburn apples and topped with apples poached in spiced cider with caramel shards. Uh, the crunchy streusel was a jazz trio joke. I was okay with that. It was a good little bit. Sandro went with creepy apple crumble cake. He used spiced Bramley apple sponge covered in caramel glaze with apple and walnut crumble with a cinnamon whiskey pipettes, and he topped it with this crystal sugar skull. Abdul made a bonfire apple cake with almond sponge, cream cheese frosting, almond streusel topped with a chocolate covered apple logs and caramel shards to look like fire, wrapped in a piped chocolate collar. So that's what everybody made this week. Now let's see what they succeeded at this week. What about signature spoke to y'all this go round?
I don't know that I would eat any of that. There's just something about the idea of an apple cake, especially like a sponge cake, that feels not great for me.
I other than like the walnut element, I really dug the way. I mean, even when they cut into it, I really like the way maxi cake looked. It looked the most delicious. Don, like I don't understand why she would use a fat-free cake with that, because those are usually like very light and airy, and then you putting a candied apple piece on there. That's why that bad boy sunk in the middle, because it was way too light.
It was the wrong week to go. I'm not gonna say experimenting, but kind of, sort of. It's
don't
like
experiment on Thanksgiving.
experiment on Thanksgiving.
She probably kind of knew that this was probably going to be her last week, so she might as well go out with a bang.
I can see that.
I thought Maxie did the thing with the little apple slices on top that Kevin tried to do the other week when he just like laid that shit crisscross. And Prue, I don't know if it was intentional. Prue was like, "It's lovely. Like, this is perfect."
Yeah. It was a lot of that this week, and I hope we all picked up on that. I was like, y'all is really telling on each other right now. As for judging this week, Sandro, in Prue's eyes, the skull just ruins the look of the cake. The cake tin was really nice, and so it did have a really lovely spiral kind of geometric kind of shape to it. But it's Halloween.
It's a Halloween cake. Yeah.
So
sorry if that's not your aesthetic, Prue, but like it's Halloween.
Yeah. As for the cake itself, lovely and moist, just not apple enough.
They said the apple wasn't the star of the show.
When has he made something without liquor in it?
The barbecue.
I think every.
Oh
yeah.
He probably used bourbon barbecue.
It's smorgasbord torta didn't have no liquor in it.
Oh my goodness. Abdul, his caramel shards that were supposed to represent fire were too thick, but a good streusel, good texture, and a beautifully moist sponge. That's like a real nice descriptor. You know what I'm saying? You get that said about you, it's like, okay, I'm riding out with that. Janusz, not getting any apple. A lovely sponge. Buttercream texture is lovely. Were it a spice cake challenge, you would have won. Prue is gangster. Don't let Prue say some shit like that to you.
I mean, he really got no choice. The way she was cracking with that bat later on in the show, you better not talk to Prue outside ways.
Yeah, don't catch Prue saying on some nonsense. Dawn, her cake suck in. Not a lot of apple. The toffee apples were so powerful that the rest of the cake was dull by comparison.
Wow.
How you make beautiful ass orange soaked toffee apples that was better than the cake? when cake is the name of this game. It just, you know what? She didn't burn. I ain't gonna lie to you for it. So, I mean, normally I can tell you, hey, this person's going home, that person's going home. This week, for a good long while, I was like, I don't know.
I don't even know who it is gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not like she shot the bed. It was just not great.
Yeah. Kevin, as I told you last week, don't frost warm sponge. And what did Kevin do this week? Exactly that. Looks an absolute mess. But the apples are beautiful along with the almond and cream. Taste amazing. Prue was like, just delicious. But they wanted a cake and not a pudding. And guess what you get when you just let cream soak into a goddamn warm cake? It's just like a bread pudding at that point. A mighty tasty one, but a bread pudding nonetheless. Maxie, I love when Paul said this. If I walked in the room and saw that cake, I would know it was yours. Which means her style has just been so well documented at this point that they know what's up.
And what's the name of this challenge?
For real, apple cake. So my man did come through.
No, the signature challenge, right?
Oh yeah, true indeed. So she has a signature style.
Nailed
there
it.
You go. Neat as a pin. Only this time Paul said it and not Prue. A really good cake. Apple comes through beautifully. And what does she end up with? After worrying that it was just maybe too basic a cake, she gets a Hollywood handshake. A deserved so. Shabira, Prue loves it. Really powerful flavors. The cake is beautiful. Also a Hollywood handshake based off the sneaky way the chili flavor came through, because it was a chili and sour plum vibe going on there. And that's twice now you done gave my girl a handshake, and then you go shake somebody else's hand. I feel like it takes some juice off of it. I don't like that. Even though Shabira did kind of show out. Shabira, just as you know, if you don't know, on absolute fire this week, was not to be stopped. Hit all her shots. And there you go. That's just what it ends up being. She was really crushing it this week. Our technical challenge was set by Paul, and Paul wanted 8 s'mores. And this is when I need to go ahead and talk my shit. It's time for this week's edition of... Hey, look, it's still starting wrong. Bakers make the world go round. Oh, my goodness. This is from the good people over at The Independent. My man Trent Krim writes for, or used to before he had to leave.
Trent Krim from The Independent. He quit because he got, some morals.
He got some ethics. But this is from The Independent. Horrified U.S. viewers accuse Great British Baking Show of ruining classic treat. Claims they hate American food.
What?
It seems that fans of the Great British Baking Show, we don't call it that here, the Great British Bake Off, are angry once again at the baking show for ruining yet another classic, s'mores. This week on the series, the 7 remaining contestants competed in 3 spooky-themed challenges for Halloween week. For the technical challenge, Judge Paul Hollywood asked the bakers with creating s'mores. Task the bakers with a popular campsite treat in the U.S. and Canada from scratch. However, things didn't go as planned. For the challenge, bakers had to make 8 s'mores, each filled with gooey marshmallow and dark chocolate ganache. Instead of graham crackers, the bakers were told to make digestive biscuits. While the semi-sweet biscuits from Scotland were used as replacements for graham crackers, the cookies aren't quite the same. I'm going to stop reading right there and tell you, bullshit. Yes, they are. I've had digestives. They might as well be graham crackers. Seriously. Just chocolate dipped graham crackers. Kind of great. Digestives are the shit. McVitie's. I don't know if everybody's digestives, but McVitie's brand digestives in particular are mighty tasty. As the challenge begins...
Next time I go to World Market, I got to try those out then.
Yeah. As the challenge began, it soon became clear that British bakers struggled with making the distinctly American treat, which is typically toasted over a campfire rather than in a kitchen or a tent. Some bakers forgot to add gelatin to their syrup, which could make their marshmallows too soft. Others went a little too blowtorch heavy to make their s'mores appear golden brown. In the end, Abdul's s'mores came in last place, whilst Maxie's came in 6th, as neither of them could get the marshmallow consistency just right. Meanwhile, Shabira came in 1st place for her identical s'mores and consistent chocolate ganache. While making s'mores from scratch proved to be a challenge for some, viewers that criticized the Great British Baking Bake Off for ruining a beloved American treat. Leave it to the great. Oh, this is somebody's tweet. Leave it to Great British Bake Off to ruin s'mores too. One person tweeted. One person. One.
I have
person.
I have a huge gripe with this, and it's not like exactly the same, but it kind of falls in line to what I think is happening when people are like live tweeting shows. Like, I miss the days before everybody was like an aspiring writer and people just watched shit and enjoyed it. And now every fucking person is a critic. Everyone has some shit to say. Like, this is the most wholesome show on television. Yes,
Yeah.
we were all like upset and pointing out like blatant clumsy racism in an entire episode, but like, watch the show or don't. The fact that they chose s'mores, my first thought was like, oh, but you just like take shit out of a package and put it in. But then I was like, oh, they're gonna bake off, they're gonna make all the elements. Like, you can't ruin a fucking s'more. It's melted chocolate and marshmallow. Period.
Well,
If anything, they elevated it.
Exactly. As you do on a show like this.
Yes.
well, the rest of that article will be in your notes, but basically it is a bunch of people were tweeting as the show was happening, was mad about it, and I was kind of mad about it, but I was mad about it in a way that we'll get to here as we go through my situation. What I was mad about is they was disrespecting some good looking ass s'mores. Sandro's s'more
Everybody
was so
a little
on point to me.
messy, a little
Yes.
messy, a little goopy, a little burnt. You can't mess up a s'more.
And so when you go picking the pretty one, I'm like, I guess, buddy, but that's really not what s'mores game is about. It's about chilling around the fire and getting marshmallow. Oh shit, I got marshmallow on my sleeve. Some people like their marshmallows blackened.
Burnt, yeah.
Some people like them, you know what I'm saying? I do try to get that golden brown, but if they get a little dark, I'm okay with it because it has a very nice flavor. And I don't feel like they appreciate that over there in this situation. I don't feel like Paul, I guess, gave them enough of an understanding of what was going on there. But that's about the worst I can say about it. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying right now, I have made s'mores at all kinds of things. Guess what? S'mores with Reese cups, the banger. Choose whatever biscuit you want to make a s'more with. All you need is
say what now? Say what now? A s'more with a Reese cup?
Yeah, do that.
Oh, you just
change
changed
your
my
life?
life. You
Tell you
just
right now?
changed my life.
I'm not gonna lie. Look, like especially this time of year because it's all the Halloween little joint, so it's like the perfect sizes.
Bruh.
So almond joy go up. I thought I would tell you to use a mound because trying to bite through the nut and the graham cracker kind of works in a weird way, but it do go up if you appreciate coconut like that.
I don't play with coconut like that.
That's okay. That's okay. What other ones have I done? I think we tried a York peppermint patty once, but that was not doing it.
What about?
But it was nice.
Taste the sensation. I was just thinking that.
Old Butterfingers, yes, but these newer school Butterfingers, now they done changed company hands, not so much.
I would definitely go with a Fifth Avenue. I love me a Fifth Avenue, boy.
What's the one joint? Yeah, is that like the other version of Butterfinger? That's like Hershey's Butterfinger.
Yes.
Yeah. That's that peanut butter texture kind of would work real nice.
I think the main thing between like a Fifth Avenue and the Butterfinger is the Fifth Avenue actually got some peanut butter in there, just not the cornflakes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Give it up to confectioner's cornflakes, which is when I found that out while reading a Butterfinger package, I was like, confectioner's cornflakes is a thing that exists. Totally took me out. One of the things on those little facts in my brain, I'm like, that's wild. On the judging. Up first, Dawn lost definition in the biscuit, but the biscuit was good. The marshmallow melts too readily. More meringue than marshmallow. Janusz, nice color on the biscuit, nice look, torch nicely, nice chew on the biscuit. Maxie, a bit all over the place, biscuit color a bit light, not identical, biscuit a bit rubbery, and the marshmallow too soft. Sandro, the chocolate's gone everywhere. They looked so good, y'all. I don't care what the fuck these judges say. I was like, that's what I want in my s'more. Biscuit is good, light marshmallow. And in my little notes here, I wrote, in America, an absolutely perfect s'more. Just want y'all to know that if you are a listener somewhere else in the world, and I know y'all out there, trust me, I see the stats. Sandro made the right thing. Not knocking everybody else, I'm not. But what you want is what Sandro created. Shabira, perfect color. Identical. Definition good. Chocolate is right consistency. Neat as a pin. Again, every time you hear it, you get that said to you, you just know what's up. Kevin, a little messy. Color's all right. Biscuits well baked. As for Abdul, biscuits look good, but the marshmallows were terrible. Not that they were actually terrible. What it is Abdul, when trying to torch the marshmallow to, what you do is, you burn marshmallows for your for a s'more. I think he didn't notice that the fire was still burning.
Yeah.
Because they using these they using blow torches. And if you've never used a kitchen torch, you don't know. And so his marshmallows are just off fire and melting because you got to hit them and kind of back up and kind of wave them off. And it's technique to making a s'more, which these people don't have because they don't do it.
You can't hold the gun sideways on this one, Playboy.
So really, he just as Paul described it, superheated the marshmallow and they just melted. And so there was nothing he could do about that. What I bet you, though, would be a mighty tasty s'more, nonetheless. As for ranking, Abdul, of course, came in last. A big problem with the marshmallows, how Paul described it. Maxi's just too soft. And fifth was Dawn. Fourth was Sandro. Third was Kevin Yanush. Really nice, lovely texture, but just missing some definition. And that was the difference between him and Shabira, who came in first, who was really nice. Again, Shabira is on fire. Just over and over again this whole episode. Y'all got to know, I was real like, she will not be stopped this week. Showstopper, Nick Jew. Were you showstopped this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah because I thought they were all a little small, but I'm like, you're gonna suspend some shit in the air. I'm with it. Let's go.
It was Yobu Sandro who I was just like, bruh, you can't.
He did that shit. He did that shit.
He did. So, Janusz went with Halloween horror movie Popcorn Lantern. Oh yeah, Showstopper is Hanging Lantern filled with sweet treats. If you're wondering what's going on there, so basically you had to make a 3-dimensional container. Most people went with a box situation. Some people went with spheres or attempted, and you want to fill that with at least 2 different kinds of treats. Other people went a little hard, made more than that. Janusz went with Halloween horror movie Popcorn Lantern. His popcorn bucket was made from an almond sablé, topped with white chocolate popcorn. He made pumpkin biscuits, which were flavored with cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg for a treat. And for a trick, cricket-filled biscuits. And the judges were super excited for the crickets. They were like, yo, this could go hard. Yep. Shabira made
cricket
coriander
and cricket powder.
Yeah, for sure.
Full of protein.
Shabir made coriander, cinnamon, clove, and star anise flavored gingerbread. What she made from that was a spider. Peanut biscuit Frankenstein fingers was one of the cookies that would go inside of that. Mummy orange shortbreads with white truffle maple syrup cream cheese filling. I'm going to say that again to you. I want you to think about that as I read the rest of this off to you. White truffle maple syrup cream cheese filling. Okay?
It sounds disgusting.
Kevin made orange zest and 5-spice flavored sugar cookie. Orange zest and 5-spice flavored sugar cookie spider. It was to be covered in a chocolate ganache with choux pastry legs and marshmallow eyes. I feel like, no, somebody else made little choux pastries, didn't they, at some point? Somebody made little choux buns at some point during the season. I think like this is the first time we got some choux pastry going this season, but no.
I think it was old girl. I thought it was old girl with the eyebrows. What I mean?
Ribs?
Yeah. Ribs. Okay. Marshmallow eyes. He also made toffee apple macaroons. Well, here. As you recall, Kevin's ass can't make macaroons. Guess what Kevin still can't do? Anyway. But that idea was a crazy sound. When I saw it, I was like, oh, so like candy apples joints. You know what I'm saying? Because he actually put them in like basically what you would dip a candy apple in if you were making the red candy apple, not a caramel apple, y'all. And I was like, yo, that ideal cooks, man. I kind of get what you were doing there. He also made hard-boiled peanut sweets. Dawn went for a cat in a fancy hat, is what she named her lantern, using carbon black cocoa powder and cardamom biscuit. Was what she's going to make the cat out of. Making she's going to use two halves of a sphere, and then stick them together and so forth. And also the cat was topped with these 12 biscuits to make it because that was its fancy hat. And then it had these inside of the, because you had to put something inside of it. She had these raspberry jelly eyes. This raspberry jelly with then like chocolate at the bottom of them, and these monster macarons. Sandra went with a dead disco ball, filled with chocolate and orange palmiers, espresso and cayenne pepper flavored chocolate cookies. I wrote as a trick. I just figured that was this trick or treat vibe. And he also made hazelnut and orange Florentines. But he made them shits way too thick. But we'll get to that. Maxie went with a spooky lantern as hers joint. She said she wasn't trying to go too hard. She's not into Halloween or all like that.
Did they say what her costume was?
She had a mummy vibe going if you saw her.
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, they did a couple of wads on her, and like she had like the little, the like extra stuff wrapped around her. So I got the vibe.
Yeah, now that you say it, I can see it. I didn't understand it either.
Yeah. Fair enough. I skipped over this part in Kevin. Well, no, I'll come back around to Kevin here shortly because I thought it's a lot of fun to be had with Kevin this week. So Maxie's orange lantern, she made monster orange and cinnamon flavored lantern. And her intent was to fill it with these brownie truffles, pumpkin spice macarons, a little meringue ghost, and on the side outside of the lantern were these 12 bats. And Abdul made a witch's lantern. His intent was to fill his with cardamom and rose water date balls, which were to look like witch's eyes, and then brandy snaps that he covered in a matcha white chocolate. And rosewater and matcha are like bake off Judge kryptonite because people can never seem to get those things right. So this was risky on all kinds of levels here. Kevin named his, what did he name it? It was arachnophobia. And he goes to explain that because he's a Christian, he didn't really get to get down with like crazy things on Halloween. And like he said, once he was dressed as a clock with the mouse going up, it like hickety dickety duck, and I just had to chuckle at my man for that. But then he said his homie's mom was even worse, and so I'm like, Aunt always tells a story of how much his grandma was like down with church, but then she went up for Halloween. And so I always chuckle at that people's life experience with Halloween. And my Christian man with his what's his people he kicked with his church? His Persian. Kevin has been a special contestant. I will probably remember Kevin years down the line from his
It's my dog. It's my dog.
Gotta respect it. As we go into judging, up first was Sandro. Paul said this looks like something you would buy in a supermarket. He meant that complimentary. I took it. But I'm like, what shops is Paul Hollywood in?
Right.
Because let me tell you something. You ain't getting nothing like that from no supermarket around the way. It was fantastic. Made this beautiful, perfect chocolate sphere. Like literally a perfect sphere.
It was incredible.
And then stuck on it these beautiful chocolate skulls. Then he painted it all silver, you know what I'm saying? And shiny. It was absolutely gorgeous. The Florentines taste amazing, just far too thick. Them shits was not Florentines, bro. I don't know what that was, but it was not no Florentine. I had to laugh. I was like, bro. The chocolate cookies were far too potent. When I saw him seasoning that up, and I see him not only taking a full spoonful of cayenne and then spilt all off on the sides, I'm like, what you just spilt is what you should use if you want that flavor. Cayenne goes up. Something I discovered recently at Vanessa's niece's graduation party. She asked that I make mac and cheese for her, and I threw a little cayenne in there. I threw too much cayenne. That mac and cheese was mighty tasty, actually, but it was very spicy.
Let me ask you a question. So when you put in the cayenne, did you put it in your roux?
I did. No, I didn't put it in roux, but I did put it in the sauce when I got to the bechamel making program of the situation.
Yeah, you bloomed it. That's what happened.
Man, that shit was. It was. I don't know, man. It was still good though. It had a good burn to it. So I don't know. I might have did something that I ain't mean to, but came out on the top with. But just be careful with cayenne, y'all. That it is more strong. It is more powerful than you think it is. Yanush is up next. They love the box, the eyes, the biscuit that he made the box out of has a lovely flavor and is quite short. The cricket cookie, y'all, you hear cricket, you think that's probably gonna be salty or something, right? Sickeningly sweet is not the descriptor you want somebody to say about your damn cricket cookie, and that is what Paul said about them shits. Should have had far more cricket as it would have better balanced with the flavor. Who wants more cricket? But
They needed the savoriness of the cricket. It's like
yeah,
it's like sunflower seeds.
Yeah. Janusz just went too light. The pumpkin spice biscuits were overspiced. Flavors gone wayward. It's the third week in a row he's done that drip thing, and I was sick of it last week. I don't like that drip shit. All right, I'm just putting that's me. That's not them, but still. Maxi, and this is them. This, like I said, this right here is again what I'm noticing. This little, and it's probably just editing. I doubt they say these things or do these things to clap back, but it felt like somebody was saying something because Maxi looks a mess, but the biscuit is good. Not too sweet and very orangey. Bake has a nice crunch, almost shortbread like. Macaroons delicious with just the right amount of spices. When you go from somebody telling somebody your spice was trash, and then the next person you say your spice was right on, it just felt like some kind of way. Is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
The brownie monsters are chocolatey, dense, rich. Couldn't have too many of them. Tasty, but massive. It was way too big, and that's just because she was rushing. I saw her making them, and she was like, "I'm like, that is not a truffle. You have made a delicious cake ball of some sort, but it's simply not a truffle. You got to shrink those way down. Tasty but massive. The Tyrell 713 story. Just want to put that out there because that's how they described. That's how they described her little brownie Jones. So Abdul, his lantern again needed some pen, softer than you would think. It would end up being, they, in their opinion, slightly underbaked, just slightly. Nothing to complain about. Lovely flavor. Go on.
No, that I felt like his was my favorite. Like just the look of it, was my favorite one.
Lovely flavor with the matcha. He got the matcha right. Nice and thin and almond delicious because he made these brandy snaps. The date ball, the texture was good, but the rose water simply overwhelmed it. And that's something interesting. Like I said, what if nothing else, Janusz used a bit of almond extract in his cookie and did not get a complaint about the extract being used because he used it sparingly. Abdul, on the other hand, simply went overboard. Like when he said it was fragrant and he could smell it, I knew it was too much. You just because it's just how flavor and scent work,
Rose, I think I've only heard maybe once or twice
one word
where they got the rose right.
Yeah,
man.
They hardly ever get the rose. It's always like too much, too little, whatever.
Yeah. For Kevin, quite scary, very messy. The ganache is delicious. The biscuit lovely and crisp. So like you said, it was a mess, but it was doing the thing. The macaron was very sweet, but a good flavor. Very sweet because of course he coated it in like candy apple. You know what I'm saying, coating. So of course it's going to be very sweet. So he probably should have dialed back the sweetness of the macaron in general if he's going to be doing that. Probably would have balanced out a little more. Good flavor, a bit crispy, but lacks chew. But I think, so of course, like I said, my man can't make macarons because he just simply can't. This is it's the third time he's tried it. Third time in this series, and every time they're like, no. But I think what it is because the chew kind of went away because he coats them in the toffee, which is boiled sugar, y'all. It's just caramel. And of course, that hardens up. So, of course, it's going to take away from that chew that you normally would get from a macaron. And I think that because I feel like that was intentional, I don't know if he should have been judged so much on that. But whatever, that's me. The peanut candy is just sweet. Just lacks flavor. Does not have any kind of peanut flavor to it. And so Paul was like, come on, bruv. This is what my man said. He said the nuts hanging out part about these peanut candies and the entire tent just cracked up laughing.
Giggled.
And Paul just sitting there trying to talk, and he like, "Oh, nuts hanging out. Yeah, I did that." Like, because once Kevin started going, it was over. Because everybody, like the host started laughing, the rest of the tent started laughing. It was too good a joke, man. You nuts hanging out, bruh. So that's what it is. Dawn, this is why I'll tell you right now. This is literally why I absolutely love this show. She was worried it wasn't going to hang up, and when that bad boy hung cleanly, they all applauded her, and I just love that. I love the support they give for one another, each other in that damn tent. What I can tell you about this thing is it was very small and by my eyes, and quite literally remind me of Mason's mask. It was one of the situations where I was like, when everyone else in this tent is making these works of art, and you make this tiny little cat head,
right? You gotta go. You gotta go.
It just wasn't right. A bit messy. The ideal was impressive, which I just disagree with wholeheartedly. Very hard. Like that shit was so hard when they tried to bite into it. It's like, bruh, can't taste anything. But nice and thin, which is a good thing because it was just a weird way how Prue described that. So no. The macaron was good, but just basically decorated. And that's because she wanted more time to do some stuff. They said the jelly eyes were beautiful, but just textured. They didn't taste like raspberry, which was the intention. Everybody raspberry flavored jelly eyes with a chocolate base on them. And they said that the chocolate was good and the jelly was good, but it didn't have no flavor. So then you're just like, ugh. Could you imagine?
Those eyes were dope. They looked dope.
Like I said, it was so much that could work. It just did not work. And Paul's complaint was it was all just a bit basic. And what I wrote here is this is where editing, the third judge's aunt calls them, comes in. You leave Dawn's basic ass bake and you cut the Shabir's banger.
Right.
And well, here you go. For Shabir, looks amazing. Really stunning. Astonishing to look at. That is 3 mighty descriptors for just this one single bake, y'all. Everything is neatly and delicately done. Biscuit is unbelievable. Chocolate is bitter enough to work with the ginger biscuit itself, which is exceptionally crunchy. Peanut biscuit is lovely, crumbly, just perfect. Truffle filling is not good. Prue said she was off her head for using that truffle shit in her fucking in her filling. And yeah, I'd agree. You was off your head, and she knew it. And she's like, "Hey, they don't like the truffle filling, but I had to try it." I'm like, "I'm with you." Once again, Shabir came through with a little Malaysia flavor with those peanut biscuits. That's a Malaysian treat, she said. And once again, the nonsense that woman wrote last week is counteracted by Shabir just doing what Shabir do, and them appreciating it, despite her saying that they don't. That woman who wrote that article, not Shabir.
Well, because it worked.
Correct. And it almost does every time so far. Shabir is kind of on point. When it didn't work, it didn't. But when it does, boy, it's on point. I mean, obviously the way that I've never seen them sit down at the table and be like, look, bruh, yeah, we know who Star Baker is. It is not even close. So, no, there is no competition for Star Baker this week. It is Shabir, and Shabir indeed did win Star Baker this week. She deserved it. So from all you've heard me read to you this week, listeners, you leaning one way, leaning another, like, who could it be? Well, it ended up being Dawn. And it was, in my opinion, it was certainly her showstopper that got her sent home.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kevin came in third in technical. And everything he made this week, they said was like pretty damn tasty. So, his flavors was on point. It's just some of his design work was lacking. So my prediction last week that Kevin will go home this week did not come true. Dawn is who leaves the tent this week. And Dawn actually started crying. And Dawn was like, my kids are going to clown me for this because I do not show emotion because these stiff upper lip Brits, especially of that age bracket, of that those are definitely war kids whose parents definitely taught them, what I'm saying, keep calm,
no emotion,
carry on, no emotion type shit. So
I thought
she's so sweet 40. Though. What?
What'd you say?
The way you said what?
You said you thought she was only 40?
I was joking.
Oh, I was about to say, because I'm 44.
Well, No, Dawn, I believe, is 60.
I like Dawn. I'm gonna miss her.
Yeah.
Kevin should have took his ass home a long time ago, but he's still around.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Don was always. Oh, I know this. I know she was such a knowledgeable baker.
Yeah.
So
Again, it's like I'm not even saying she didn't because she knew everything she was doing this week. None of it worked out for her. So it's not it's different than people who have just reached the end of your technical abilities. No, she knew what she was doing. She just had bad goes at it on everything she did this week. And also that cat shit was whack. It just was.
I was watching my partner, and she was like, she looked tired. Which I'm enjoying that she's starting to watch with me, like instead of because usually she watching something else, but
Yeah.
like I've been throwing it on the TV, and her input is usually pretty funny or spot on.
Yeah.
Like she enjoys Kevin's humor, and she was like, yeah, Don looked tired. So Don probably was just like, yeah, I'm ready to pack it in. I'm gonna press this black shit on this bowl, and y'all go get what y'all go get with this cat.
I think time was really beating Dawn's ass a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere in Anchor, somebody commented, I believe it was on episode 4. So I'm going to jump back to that. And let me go find that episode. 4 was Mexican week.
Yeah, because we're practicing and going back and forth, and it's being 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. Natasha P commented on episode 4, which was Mexican week, and said Carol could have skedaddled right along with James. They was neck and neck. So thank you, Natasha P, for commenting on that. And when it was all said and done, Carol did get sent home eventually, so it's all good. So James had to go that week, but yeah, Carol soon followed. So you was right; she got sent on her merry way. But thanks for listening. Thanks for writing in. That is very dope of you. Next week is Custard Week.
Custard week.
Yuck.
And I'm like, what are you going to be doing with custard?
For three separate challenges, custard.
Yeah.
They're gonna make flan.
Oh
See,
God.
that would have been so dope in Mexican week.
Instead of fucking tacos.
God, so disrespectful. Oh, let me check the what you call it. I didn't.
But Nick,
check the poll.
your boo can make so many different things now. He can make savory and sweet foods.
I been knew that though.
The poll this week was in the raw cookie dough debate. You snacking or no? Yes, please. 83%. No, my fear of salmonella wins out. 17%. So most people are getting down some raw cookie dough because raw cookie dough is the shit. Also, you can go buy a cookie dough they make just to be, eaten on. So, you good. Enjoy some cookie dough, people. Also, in most places in the world besides America, you ain't got to worry about salmonella in your eggs. That's a us thing. It's how we treat our eggs. It's a very weird thing.
Actually, the salmonella when it comes to it comes from the flour. Does it come from the eggs?
I'll say word. So if you heat treat your flour beforehand, you good to go as well.
Yes,
So,
it's the flour here.
Yeah. So don't fall for the nonsense. You good. You ain't got to trip off your raw cookie dough. I don't know what the poll will be this week. Halloween, I don't know. Halloween will be over by the time. Well, no, I guess technically the show does drop tomorrow. So, what you making your? What you make? No, that's a question. So the question I will tell you will be, what you making your? What's your little s'mores tricks? What you using on your s'mores?
Trick or treat?
Fair enough. That is it. There's your poll. Trick or treat. Your choice. And let me know why you chose that, please, and thank you. But again, thanks for joining us in the 10th this week. It was a pretty great episode. Pretty much everything I love about the show was well played off. I gotta tell y'all, man. Like I'm sure my man Janusz gonna come back next week like a bat out of hell. But he was off his game somewhat each step of the well. He did well in technical, but his flavors in signature, his flavors in Showstopper were both off. And I'm like, you got to get that dial back in, my guy. Because if Kevin ended up overstaying Janusz, Lord.
Well, who is the sleeper is Abdul. Abdul will fuck around and be in the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I was really, really impressed with the way his, his creations were. But I guess the only thing that really fucked up was that rose water.
Mm-hmm.
That and the torch. and I got to be real with you. If you've never used the kitchen torch before, you might not know what you're doing. Also, if you've never made swords before, you definitely don't know what you're doing. You don't know the bad boys that sugar gonna keep burning and kind of invisibly. You can't see that it's like, oh,
Yeah,
them
it's
shits
a,
is
it's
still
a,
on
it's a,
fire.
it's a like a light blue flame. It's tricky.
Yeah. So we hope for the best. We'll see where this all heads out, people. But that was it, and I'd like to thank you for it. As always, for my host, that is Nick Jew.
It's nice to be back in the tent and not have to fight racial injustice.
Oh, it might be coming.
Right.
I mean, we'll see what I don't know, some racist custard. I don't know. I hope not.
Racist custom.
That's Tatum 216.
All right. Good night. Bake well.
I am the Interstellar 713. I would ask you to bake well. We'll catch you next go round. Bye.
What happened to you? You used to be beautiful.